fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Indiana Jones with motorcycle and sidecar from the brand new Indiana Jones Worlds of Adventure line from Hasbro. And this is essentially an Indiana Jones version of the Mission Fleet line that they do for Star Wars. So it's that same 2.5-inch figure scale with vehicles and different things like that. I'm crossing my fingers that maybe we'll see some playsets in this line. I feel like there are definitely some famous locales from the Indy movies, so that they can maybe do some playsets in this line. We'll see. I mean, I don't know why they don't do them for Mission Fleet either, but that's a separate point. But yeah, so I just think this is really cool. When they first announced this, I was really excited because I was afraid Mission Fleet wasn't doing so well. But now that they're expanding this play pattern to another IP, it makes me very hopeful. And recently we've also heard some news of some other Mando-related Mission Fleet sets that are coming out. So it's back. It took a hibernation, I guess, but the Mission Fleet play pattern is back. It's alive and well. So we have it here for Indy. I'm still really hoping that they'll also expand it to some of their other IPs. I just feel like G.I. Joe would thrive in this scale. There's so many characters and vehicles that they could keep this play pattern going for a long time, and it'd be very affordable to collect them all at this scale. But we're getting off topic here. So Indiana Jones with motorcycle and sidecar, which has got to be the most boring name for this set. I don't know. But I believe this is from Last Crusade, where they're, escaping with the motorcycle and sidecar. We should have a Henry Jones figure as well, but I guess they're only doing one figure per set. But we have some nice artwork here on the front. We got Indy with his whip on the motorcycle, looking pretty cool. Not too much going on up top there. Not really anything going on the bottom, just advertising that plastic-free packaging. Over here on the side, showing you where you can store or mount the missile launcher, showing off the kickstand. Over here, this is actually another set that is available. The fighter jet from, I believe, Raiders. And then over here on the back, you have everything that's actually included in the set. So you have Indiana Jones with his, satchel whip in both rolled up and unfurled modes. This, I believe, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure what that piece is. I'm sure that'll be made apparent as we check out this. But we have the motorcycle, the sidecar, the missile launcher, and the missile. What is that piece supposed to be? Is it part of the bike? I'm really intrigued. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get everything out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. So here is everything you get in the box. We will start off with Indy himself. Now, the satchel does come separately, and I've already gone ahead and put that on him. You can actually fit it over the head and the arm to slide it down, but if you want, you could also pop the head off. These heads are usually pretty easy to just pop it off the ball joint, put the satchel on, and then pop it back on. Shouldn't be too difficult. I think the head sculpt looks pretty good. Now, obviously, the brim of the hat is covering his eyes somewhat, so you kind of have to tilt it, but the paint job's not too bad. It does look like this one eye, the paint job is a little off, but again, the brim is kind of covering it, so it's not that big a deal. I also have a little bit of paint on the ear there, but again, not a big deal. The hats are not removable. I had a friend who was wondering about that. They are not removable, as I did not expect them to be. The head is on a ball joint, so you can look down, look up slightly, side to side. You can tilt side to side. You have a hinge and a rotation in the shoulder. Wrist rotation. This wrist was kind of stuck on mine originally, but I just kind of wiggled it around in the joint, and I was able to unstick it, luckily. Because I've had a couple Mission Fleet figures where if you turn it too wrong when it's stuck and then the wrist breaks off. So luckily I was able to unstick that. But his leather jacket looks really good. I think the satchel looks good. He's got the little holster there for his gun, even though the gun is not included. And then these are on kind of limited ball joints, but you can kind of move them around. They mostly just go forward, but you can kind of get a small range of motion there. But yeah, overall, I think he looks good. It's a good-looking figure. It has all the same articulation points as Mission Fleet. Just to illustrate that point, here is a Mission Fleet Scout Trooper. And you can see that they are constructed very similarly. Same hips, same shoulders, same wrists, same head. with the kind of long neck ball joint. So honestly, you could probably kit bash these and switch some parts around if you really wanted to. They are exactly the same size there. So we do have a couple of accessories here for Indy. We have the whip all rolled up. I kind of really wish he had a way to clip it somewhere on his belt, but I understand that it's like the size of his entire leg, so it doesn't really make sense. But we can go ahead and put this in his hand if we want him to just kind of carry it around while it's rolled up. Or of course we have the opened up mid-whip version, which we can slide into his hand. It's a little loose, I will admit. That one's a little loose in his hand, but still looks pretty cool. Pretend like he's whipping somebody. I do kind of wish he came with a gun as well, but I guess it would be a too realistic looking gun, which is why they don't have a problem, you know, giving space age blasters, but the too realistic looking gun's probably a no-no. You do have this, which I still don't know what this is. So at first I thought maybe it was a torch that's just not lit, but then I thought it kind of looks like the sheath for a sword. I just don't know what this is. It almost, maybe it's like a missile or something. If you have any idea, please let me know in the comments, because I am really just intrigued as to what this is supposed to be. And I just don't know. I just don't know what it is. So let's go ahead. Let's move on. Actually, let's get the missile launcher out of the way. So this looks kind of like a giant bazooka, which I think is kind of, you know, some nice design there. And then you have this missile. And these work exactly the same as the Mission Fleet missile launchers. Doesn't have a tripod, though. I will note that. But you just press this right here. This is probably going to fire out pretty... It fires out pretty strongly. So that's nice. Looks pretty good there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the motorcycle. So as the name of the set suggested, motorcycle and sidecar. It is aptly named, if nothing else. The motorcycle looks pretty cool. You can see you have one of these connection ports here on the side that just goes completely through to the other side. And you have the little kickstand right here. It really does need that kickstand. It will just completely fall over without it. But I think it works really well. It's very simple. You just flip it down like that. It kind of naturally stops there. And it will completely stand up on its own with that. I think it's painted very nicely. You have some nice metallic silver here for the engine block. You have some grips here for the handlebars. The seats are all painted very nicely. And it looks like you can fit 2 characters here. I'll have to try it. Let me see. If we put Indy here, and then can we put the Scout Trooper on this? Yeah, kinda. I mean, it looks a little ridiculous. I mean, obviously this is 100% screen accurate. I remember that part in the movie where, you know, Indy and the Scout Trooper rode off into the sunset. But I think you can fit 2 characters there on the bike. I think that will work, which is pretty cool. But overall, I just think it's a nice design. It's nicely painted. Rolls very well. No problems there. You can take the missile launcher and peg it into either side if you would like. So you can peg it in there, or you can peg it in on this side, and that could help it stand as well. But then, of course, we have the sidecar. So the sidecar on its own, not the most interesting, just has the one wheel, but the seat inside is nicely detailed and painted. Now, I will say I had difficulty getting a figure in here, and that might be why they didn't give us a second figure in this set. Indy will fit, but it takes some maneuvering, because the problem is the hole here to put the feet into is a little snug, so that when you're trying to put the legs in there, you know, his heels are hitting into the seat, and there's just not enough clearance. Now, you can kind of finagle it, so he will get in there eventually, but it's definitely a snug fit, and it's not great. There we go. And I just don't know why they couldn't have made that just a little bit taller, so you could put characters in there a little bit easier. But he will fit eventually. You do get the spare tire, which is meant to peg in here on the back. I guess technically if you wanted to peg it in here on the front, you could. Or if you really wanted to peg it into the side of the motorcycle, you could. Now he's got 3 wheels. So it's a tricycle. But this is meant to go over here on the back like so. And then you can mount the missile launcher on the front here if you would like this character to position the turret. But if we go ahead and slide this in here so that you can see that there is a peg hole here on the back and here, and then you just go ahead and slide this in like this, and it slides in very nice and securely, but at the same time it's not so tight that if you want to remove it, it's a problem. I feel like this one's not very tight at all, which is why they have this one to kind of, you know, make it a little bit more secure. But at the same time, now it rolls nice. You have 3 wheels, no balance problems. Not going to need that kickstand anymore. And you still have room that if you want to put this on the side over here, you can still do that as well if you don't like the look of it here on the front. So you have a lot of options. All right. Let's get them, Indy. All in all, I think this is a pretty cool set. I really do wish we got a second figure. I wish we had a Henry Jones Sr. I don't think any Mission Fleet vehicle has ever come with 2 figures, with the exception of, like, you know, the Razor Crest also coming with Grogu, but he's like a, you know, tiny little extra figure, so I don't know if I would count that. But they should just give us more figures. I mean, I really like the vehicles, I really do, but I definitely want more figures. I don't know. I just feel like, you know, the vehicles are great, but if there's no one to ride in them, then what are we doing? But the other thing I have to address is I believe this set was $22.99. I think it's at the $20 price point, but I think that price point has unfortunately gone up. So this is like the same price as like an X-Wing with Luke. And I just don't know if I think that's fair. Considering an X-Wing with Luke would be larger, it would have the tripod for the missile launcher, probably wouldn't have as many accessories for Indy himself, so I'll give them that. But I just feel like this should have been more in the 16, like, so the $15 size class has also gone up to $16.99, so there's been price increases all the way across. But I feel like this could have been in the $16.99 and I would have been completely fine with it. At the $22.99, I feel like that's a bit much. I'm not super unhappy with it. I just feel like if you would have included another figure, if we would have got, you know, Sean Connery's Henry Jones Sr., I would have been completely happy. $22.99 all day. That's no problem whatsoever. 2 figures, a nice vehicle. I would have been fine with that. But to just do 1 figure with this size of vehicle, that seems like a lot. I feel like this should have been more in the $17 price point. Again, I don't have any problems with it. I think it looks great. I love all the accessories that come with it. You know, it's a little difficult to get a figure in the sidecar, but it can be done, so it's not an impossible task. I just feel like that price is just a little too high for me. But if you don't mind, or if you can wait for a sale, it's a fun toy. I like it. I really do like it. I enjoy, you know, the Mission Fleet style aesthetic here. So I'm happy that they're expanding it to Indy. The other thing I wonder is if maybe these Indy ones are a little bit more expensive because they just don't have as much to do with Indy. Obviously, the Indy movies don't have the depth of characters and vehicles and things to really make this line go on forever the way Star Wars does, which I can understand and appreciate, but yeah, I just think that price is just a tad too much for me. But I do think it's really cool, so like I said, if the price is the only thing holding you back, wait for a sale. If you don't mind, grab it right away. But either way, I think if you do grab this thing, you won't be disappointed because I think it really looks great. I think the figure is very cool. The accessories are good. All in all, it's a really solid little toy, so I'm pretty happy with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And especially let me know in the comments if you know what the heck this thing is, because I still don't know. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.